Madison thought money made her untouchable, until one humiliating week forced her to live the life she had mocked. At school, she laughed when Camila arrived in worn clothes and quietly ate at a community soup kitchen. Madison even took a photo and showed it to her friends, turning another girl's hardship into entertainment. But that same afternoon, Madison's perfect world began to crack. Her parents revealed that a trusted business partner had stolen their savings, leaving the family with almost nothing. The luxury, the shopping, and the birthday trip Madison had been planning suddenly disappeared. Worse, her parents moved into a modest apartment near the very shop Camila's mother struggled to keep open. Madison hated every second of it. She believed poverty was something embarrassing, something that happened to other people. Then her mother asked her to work at Camila's family's struggling store. Madison refused. She was terrified her classmates would see her. But she had no idea that this humiliating job would become the moment that changed her entire life. Because while Madison was learning what it meant to lose everything, Camila was about to teach her something money never could: kindness. She would never again judge people by money. The experience changed the way she saw everyone around her. Madison's first day at the neighborhood store felt like a punishment. She wore an apron, stocked dusty shelves, and prayed nobody from school would walk through the door. Camila noticed her discomfort but refused to make things worse. Instead, she quietly showed Madison how the store worked. The biggest surprise was that Teresa, Camila's mother, often gave food to struggling neighbors without charging them. Madison couldn't understand it. If the family was already struggling financially, why give away products for free? Camila explained that her father had built the shop to serve the community, believing that helping people mattered more than making a fortune. Madison rolled her eyes at first. Her old friends, Paige and Haley, would never understand such a thing. Then they appeared outside the store and began mocking Madison for working there. They filmed her, laughed at Camila, and called the shop pathetic. Madison stood frozen, knowing that one decision could take her back to the popular crowd. But something inside her had changed. Instead of joining the laughter, Madison stepped between them and Camila. She told her former friends that Camila wasn't a loser and that they were the ones behaving cruelly. For the first time, Madison wasn't protecting her reputation. She was protecting someone else. For the first time, she understood what kindness meant. Nothing about her would ever be the same again. After Madison defended Camila, the two girls slowly became friends. Madison discovered that Camila's family was facing a much bigger crisis than she had realized. The bank was preparing to take the store because Teresa couldn't secure a loan. The shop was barely surviving, yet Teresa refused to abandon the neighbors who depended on it. Madison finally understood why Camila had been so angry with her at school. This wasn't a game to her. It was her family's home, her father's legacy, and the only thing her mother had left of him. Meanwhile, Madison's parents watched their daughter change. She no longer complained about expensive things being gone. She began helping at the store voluntarily, even after her suspension ended. One evening, her parents told her they were proud of the way she had stood up for Camila. Madison admitted that she had once believed money was everything. Now she knew that being wealthy didn't make someone valuable, and being poor didn't make someone less worthy. But then another disaster struck. Teresa received the final warning from the bank. The store would be taken. Madison wanted to help, but Teresa told her there was nothing they could do. Madison refused to accept that answer. She remembered everything her father had taught her about helping people, and she decided to find a way. From that day on, she chose people before possessions. Nothing about her would ever be the same again. Madison went home determined to do something. Her parents had been strangely calm throughout the crisis, but she assumed they were simply trying to protect her. She asked whether they could help Teresa, yet they warned her that some problems couldn't be solved by writing a check. Madison didn't understand. For once, she wasn't asking for a new phone, designer clothes, or a birthday vacation. She wanted to save a family's store. Her parents smiled but kept their secret. The truth was that Madison's father had recently completed a major business deal that had made the family financially secure again. They had never actually lost everything. Instead, they had allowed Madison to believe the money was gone because they wanted her to experience the consequences of her old attitude. They knew that lectures about humility weren't working. Seeing real hardship had changed her. Madison had finally learned to value people over possessions. Her parents revealed the truth and told her that her birthday trip was back on. Madison was excited, but then she surprised them. She asked whether she could use part of the money to help Camila's family instead. Before they could answer, they received a call from Teresa. The bank was taking the store immediately. Madison's heart sank. She thought all her lessons had come too late. But her father suddenly realized there might be someone who could help. She would never again judge people by money. The experience changed the way she saw everyone around her. A powerful businessman arrived at the store, and the moment he saw Teresa, he recognized her husband's name. Years earlier, while traveling for an important meeting, the businessman had nearly lost his company because of a serious accounting error. At the airport, a stranger noticed the problem and helped him find the mistake. That stranger was Leo, Teresa's late husband. Leo had refused payment, saying he was simply glad he could help. The businessman had spent years trying to find him and repay the favor, but he had lost the only contact information Leo gave him. Now, standing inside Teresa's struggling shop, he finally understood where the man had come from. He told Teresa that Leo's kindness had helped save his company. Because of that one selfless act, his business had grown enormously. He promised Teresa that she would never again have to fear losing the store. He would pay off the debt, protect the business, and provide enough money for her family to rebuild. Teresa was overwhelmed. Madison watched the scene in silence, realizing that her father's kindness had returned to his family in a way nobody could have predicted. The man then revealed one more surprise: Madison had been the reason he came. Her courage and changed heart had convinced him that Leo's values were still alive. Her old life suddenly felt small and empty. Madison carried that truth with her long after the crisis ended. Madison finally understood the lesson her parents had tried to teach her. Wealth could disappear overnight, but kindness could travel through decades and change lives long after the person who gave it was gone. Teresa kept the store, the community kept its favorite neighborhood shop, and Camila no longer had to worry about losing her family's legacy. Madison's parents were proud, not because their daughter had become popular again, but because she had become someone who cared about people. Her birthday trip was still waiting for her, but Madison no longer wanted an extravagant celebration just for herself. She asked if Camila could come too. Camila smiled and reminded her that they were friends now. Madison laughed because she realized how different her life had become. A few weeks earlier, she would have been embarrassed to be seen inside a modest store. Now she was proud to stand beside the people who had taught her what mattered. The biggest twist wasn't that Madison's family had secretly remained wealthy. It wasn't even that Teresa's store was saved by a stranger connected to Leo. The real twist was that Madison had finally discovered that a person's worth has nothing to do with what they own. The girl who once mocked someone for being poor became the girl willing to sacrifice her own luxury to help her. And sometimes, the greatest fortune isn't the money you inherit. It's the kindness you leave behind. From that day on, she chose people before possessions. Nothing about her would ever be the same again.